Welcome back to CTV News. Death and dying. They're hard topics to discuss, especially when the end is near for family members, but having these conversations is important, according to a new campaign just out today by the CDHB. Goodwin, who is with the CDHB, joins me now to discuss conversations that count. It is that awareness campaign, isn't it? And it starts right today. Give us the background on this. Why is this campaign so important?
So Conversations That Count has come from our advanced care planning campaign, and it's really looking at encouraging people to start thinking and talking about the things that are important to them, especially towards the end of their life.
Why have you decided to start this campaign now then? What's changed, if anything?
Well, not really probably anything. I think it's just that consumers are getting the sense that actually they have a part in this. They no longer have to just say, okay, the doctors are saying this is what I need to do, so let's go with it. It's the opportunity to say, what's important to me? What is the care and treatment that I might like to have in this situation? What are the things that are important to me? And it may be saying, absolutely, I want you to do everything that's possible. Or for some people, it might be saying, actually, there's a point that when I get to that, actually my comfort and dignity is a little bit more important at that stage.
Jane, as I spoke to you on News Talk ZB, the aim of this campaign is not necessarily focused at elderly or those at the end of life. It's actually focused on anybody.
Absolutely.
Because we as New Zealanders don't like to discuss the inevitable, do we?
No, I think just in general, people aren't very good at talking about death and dying. You know, they say the two things you can be sure about in life are death and taxes.
Aren't you just a cherry?
I know, but I guess it's one of those things that we don't contemplate all that much. It's easier not to think about it, but it is important, and we know from the research that most of us think that if something happened, our loved ones would be able to speak for us and say what we would want. But when we look at it and do the research, actually we find that what our relatives think we would want is often quite different than the reality of what we do want. So by having these conversations, we're bridging that gap, and we're letting people know and see, instead of guessing and hoping they've made the right call, they can say, actually, I know this is what Mum wanted.
It is all about awareness, isn't it? It is an uncomfortable conversation, but it's all very well to have your will in place, even though that is an uncomfortable thing to do, but it extends to more than that, isn't it? It's about how you're going to feel should the inevitable happen, should you be in a car accident, should you have an unexpected stroke, a heart attack, whether it's not looking too good. It's uncomfortable, but why is it necessary? It's an obvious question, but you know.
It's the importance of getting your voice out there, saying what you want. You know, everybody has different opinions around these things. Everybody's had different experiences over their life. So what people want and what's important to them is different. And this is the opportunity to hear their voice, to hear what's important to them and get that real sense so that we can tailor the care around what they would want for themselves.
I think people watching this program right now may want some kind of example as to what you're actually meaning. So we're talking about an informal conversation any day of the week, at any time. Aren't we really?
Yeah, so what Conversations That Count's encouraging is to say, you know, sitting with your loved one saying, actually, you know, I've got donor on my licence. If something did happen, it would be really important for me if I died in the right kind of way or had the accident that you did donate my organs. Or it might be saying, you know, actually, if something happened for me, my quality of life is more important than my quantity. Or for someone else, it might be, actually, I want you to do everything you can for as long as you can. Whatever the teams and the doctors offer me, I want you to say yes to it because that's important. So it's about that individual and what's important to them.
Jane, this is the second year this campaign has been running. Do you think we as Kiwis, are we starting to reflect more on our mortality, do you think?
I think we're getting better at realising that this is kind of a bigger picture. You know, in general, we're actually starting to think more about our death and dying. Funeral plans and things are becoming much more part of the everyday speak and things that people think about and do. And I guess this is just another part in that process of thinking and planning and knowing what's important. So as you said, along with your will and your funeral plan, this is another step, and it's about that time before you die, not it's the dying process that's it's kind of thinking about, and how you want to live your life leading up to that time as well.
I always feel so uncomfortable talking to you. But you know, I always say that. Why is that though? Because the one thing that you and I share in common, we're going to die.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think our own mortality is a tough thing to contemplate. Some people actually have a really clear understanding of what they want and what's important to them. They're very good at thinking these things through. Other people do find it a really tough thing. This is voluntary. It's not something that you have to do, but we would encourage you to have these conversations because it does make a huge impact on your family, especially towards the end of your life. What we find from the research, an Australian study found that actually family do significantly better after a person's died when they've been involved in the advanced care planning processes.
Right, because they
instead
know what they may have wanted.
Instead of guessing and thinking, gosh, did we make the right decision? Did we make the right call? Did we go with the things that the doctor said? You know, and someone's saying, oh, I'm not sure whether she'd want that, and someone else says, oh, but I think she would. Everyone's on the same page and saying, actually, we're doing what Mum wanted, or this is what we've talked about. We know this is what she'd want in this situation.
For more information on this campaign, what can people do, Jane?
So we have the Conversations That Count awareness campaign. There's the Facebook page, there's the web page. Within the Canterbury region, there's quite a lot of information on health info that people can access as well, or they can contact me at the CDHB and have a conversation as well.
Jane, really nice to speak with you. Thanks so much for coming to the studio.
Thank you very much.
And well, what do I say? I hope the campaign goes well.
Go forth in ACP and have a good conversation that counts.
All right, thank you so much for coming to the studio.
Thank you.
For more information, don't forget to check out the CDHB's website. That is for sure, it is a brilliant website.